Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Local Sports Wrap Up. I'm Ken Brown. I got my good buddy Joel Atkins, a.k.a. Odds Jones, in the place. How you doing today, Odds?
Pretty good, yeah.
Pretty
Chilly
good?
outside, but other than that, it's a good day, yeah.
Yeah, yesterday when they said it was 10 degrees, and I felt every bit of it. And I think that comes with age, right? You feel everything.
Yeah.
That's
true.
It hurts.
True.
It hurts.
I barely ever check the weather because I'm like, well, I'll find out when I go outside. But yesterday, at some point, I happened to see the TV was on. And I saw the newscast. And I see a bunch of purples and the words "deep freeze," and I'm like, no. I get so irrationally angry at the weather. Like, why are you doing this to us?
But other than baseball, I would say that the meteorologists are the only people that could be wrong 75% of the time and keep their jobs. In baseball, you can get 3 hits out of 10 and you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But in the meteorology, it's probably the same, right? You don't have to be really accurate.
No.
Yeah.
Just a guess. It's a generalization. That's why when they're at the green screen and they're just kind of like, well, in this area, and it encompasses like a 300 square mile radius.
Yeah, you're like,
well, I could do that too.
Yeah, I think I got it. I think I could do that. I went to school for the wrong thing. What'd you do this weekend? Did you check it out?
Oh yeah, watched football, of course. Watched hockey, of course. Played with the kids. But yeah, it's a pretty typical weekend. Yeah.
For me, this, we talked last week, and it was big playoff, what do they call it? Big wild card weekend. Super wild card weekend. Yeah. To me, this weekend has always been the weekend.
The championship.
Where there's 2 games, they're both on regular television, everybody gets to watch, and you get to see who's going to the dance. Yeah. And I like that it's a couple weeks away. Both games interesting, right?
For different reasons.
For different reasons. 49er game just killed everybody quick because quarterback got hurt on the first drive. Come to find out, he tore like a UCL joint, so he could not throw. Right. He may need Tommy John, and he had won like 7 or 8 games in a row. Rookie, terrible story in the end, right? Unfortunately, it didn't happen the week before. Anyway, it's the Cowboys. But it just changed the game. They bring in the backup, boom, and then the next thing you know, they can't throw, and it's obvious.
Right. I think it's pretty amazing that all the talk was 49ers are they quarterback proof? Maybe more so than a lot of teams, but it seems they were quarterback proof 3 deep, which is pretty amazing in the modern game. But yeah, what a terrible injury for Brock Purdy. You assume a kid playing football nearly his entire life, you live in the dream, an improbable situation where you're the third stringer. And you've put together this remarkable run in your 1 game from the Super Bowl, and now you're talking about being out certainly until the start of next season, maybe deeper.
Yeah.
And I know in the NFL, like the contracts are structured a certain way, so it's not like he was going to go make buku bucks next fall. But GMs were going to be paying attention because San Francisco's not keeping all 3 of those guys.
The interesting fact is that Purdy is guaranteed $3 to $4 million, right? Mm-hmm. Trey Lance, just based on draft position, he gets $35 million guaranteed. So they would end up getting rid of Trey Lance, even if they traded him and keep Purdy for the $3 or $4 million. Now you can keep Debo and all those kids for a long period of time. I thought that the other game was even more so interesting, and I'm talking about the end. I'm thinking that it's going into overtime no matter what happens. There are more than a 60-something yard field goal, and the guy gets
Osai off the Bengals.
Yeah, he pushes the guy out of bounds. Mahomes out of bounds, gets 15 yards.
And man, those type of penalties, I understand them at the high school level. I guess even the college level, but in the pros, that's an obvious, pretty flagrant penalty. You can't do it.
Yeah.
And the Mahomes, the Kansas City quarterback, was clearly already out of bounds. You know this is a defensive player. This is schmuck like me sitting at home on my couch, I'm like, that's a flag. Like, you can't do that. And obviously you saw the shots from it. It felt horrendous.
And a rookie.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm from Texas. He's crying harder than anybody I've ever seen cry at a football game. So it was terrible for that reason. The other reason is Burrow's at 273, right? He's 283. You win, and so it was terrible in that aspect as well. I was just looking for overtime. But it was good. I think that the Super Bowl is going to be a lot of hype. Mahomes gets a chance to get healthy. And we're going to see the two best teams in the NFL all year. So
who do you like? Because I know the Eagles, of course, in the same division.
Yeah, I'm against the Eagles.
Okay, I assumed
all day. Yeah, I want Mahomes to win it. I thought that, and I think it's an interesting angle with Reed going back against his former team.
And then the Kelsey brothers.
So it's some great storylines in the game. I haven't dove all the way in to see who, like if there are any Michigan ties or things like that. But it's also the first time that it's two black quarterbacks that are both starting in the NFL. So in the Super Bowl.
Right.
So no, I think it's like there's great storylines for it. So I'm excited.
Plenty to appreciate as a fan. You mentioned Michigan tie. I might be incorrect, but I think the Chiefs got somebody on the offensive line from Eastern, isn't it?
It may be. And I know Chad Henne's the backup there, so he's the Michigan quarterback.
Yep. I had no clue he was still in the league until Mahomes had to come out a week ago.
Yeah, me neither. Imagine that. Yeah, that's got to be the best 15-year career ever. He's held a lot of clipboards.
Yeah, but hey, you're getting paid to be around the game you love, and you get to do it for that long.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Same reason we're here, right? Same reason we're here, because we love local sports and sports in general.
That's right.
And today, what we neglected to say is today is January the 31st.
It is, yeah.
One day until February. Mm-hmm. And also Carrington Brown's birthday. My daughter turned 14 years old today. Huh? Yeah, January kills me, man. I got like 4 birthdays.
How's your wallet doing?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's the end of the month, too. Yeah.
My oldest, his birthday's this Saturday.
All right.
So, yeah, he'll be 8.
So that's the 2nd or the 3rd?
4th.
The 4th?
4th, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations. 2-4. All right. What about a little local?
Let's get local.
We'll get local with it. All right. Like we talked about, the Wyandotte girls have actually really been playing well, and they've been moving up the standings. Mm-hmm. And this past week, they've had an opportunity where the Wyandotte girls they lost to Woodhaven 38-36. 2-point game. Obviously, it's a nail biter. You got to like that performance.
Sure, you go, you punch for punch with the deep pockets of Woodhaven School District, yeah.
And then Edsel Ford beat Southgate 38-13, yikes.
That's Neil's hometown.
Yeah, Neil, you got something to be proud of there, I think.
No, Southgate.
Yes.
He's on the losing end of that.
On that. And then you look at Taylor, they beat Carlson 41-36. Wow. And then Milan just laid it on thick to Lincoln Park.
Yeah, they sure did.
What's that? 66-18.
They did not call off the dogs.
No, they did not.
Jeez.
And that's kind of the opposite of how the game we saw with Lincoln Park. Their girls must need some work. But I think overall you see that the Lady Bears are doing really well. Just competing. And if they could stay in games like that with a top seed like Woodhaven, they're going to be fine as districts roll around.
Well, and those things, we talk about sometimes women's or girls' sports get a bad rap, maybe like in the general discourse. But if a team has the fundamentals down, and in the game we covered a couple weeks ago, that's what I saw. I saw a team that competed hard. They were clearly employing fundamentals, and it was a very enjoyable basketball game to watch. And in fact, I told you after the fact, because you were there for the boys, I was like, it was a lot more entertaining than the boys' game, and not just because of the result. Okay. They were a more cohesive unit for where they're at in their stage of development.
Yeah. Now, Joe, I'll tell you this: I've coached boys, I've coached girls, and by far the difference is girls listen. They pay attention. The hardest part is in general, I think boys think that they know everything.
Yeah.
Especially when you get to 13, 14 years old.
Oh, yeah.
They've played the game before. They kind of like, I got this, coach. And you're like, no, you don't. You don't have it. But girls pay attention. You can tell them what to do and they'll do it.
Yeah.
And that was really the difference between coaching boys and girls for me, in my experience. So I could see exactly what you're saying with the girls, where they're going to play within themselves. You know what I mean? They're going to pass the ball. They know that who can shoot and from where, and they can get them the ball in those spots.
And I think we've talked about the Steph Curry effect on high school sports. I often think because of the media attention, just how ingrained professional sports are in our everyday lives, teenage boys in particular are susceptible to showboating. They want to be that star that they see on TV, and they sometimes forget about the team around them. And because women's sports are not as saturated in this country, I don't think high school or collegiate female athletes are affected by that as like boy male athletes are.
I get what you're saying. So the boys want to they want to be on ESPN, right?
Yeah.
But with girls, I think that there's so few of them that can do the play. And not that they can't play well, I'm just saying they're not dunking like that. They're not doing the jumping out of the gym and seeing some different stuff, so they're more fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
So you're going to get crisp passes, you're going to get good shots. You're not going to, people aren't going to force it. It's going to be even a smaller amount of kids that can actually make a three-pointer consistently.
Right.
So there's less people shooting them, so you're getting higher shooting percentages the whole nine. So no, I think you're right that girls generally put up a better fundamentally sound game when we're, especially at this age. As far as for the boys, Downriver League boys scores, here we go. Allen Park, 74, and they beat Trenton 74-57, which that's a lot of points.
Yeah.
That's the most points we've seen this year. That I've seen. Southgate and beat Edsel Ford 55-50. I think Neil likes that better, and that was in overtime. And then you look at Carlson, they beat Taylor 47-44. Wyandotte stayed with Woodhaven. They stayed under the number, 46-34. So that's not bad performance. And then they played really well against Trenton, 53-51. You hate to lose those, even though it could be a momentum builder for you. You hate to be on the losing end when you lose by 2, because you can think of the 100 ways you
Foul shots.
Yeah, you already know.
Foul shot. They kill. You're watching the pro sport, and you're just, if you're rooting for a team or a particular player's prop, you're looking at what they do from the charity stripe, and yeah, 2 shot. You definitely missed at least 2 foul shots in that game, and you're going to miss some. But at the end of the night, when you lose by that close a margin, you're not human if you're not thinking about that.
No, you got to go back there. And especially if I shot really well, like when we went to the boys' game, they probably made a better percentage from three-point land than they did from the free throw line, which is crazy in itself.
Yes.
It's a closer shot. It's an easier shot. Nobody's defending you.
Right.
It's free.
Yeah, right.
We got to make this. It's got to be at least 80%. You know what I mean? 80% of the time, if you can make that shot, you're going to win a lot of ball games. But you're right. If you don't, it doesn't happen. I think that Wyandotte, we've seen that they improved.
Yeah.
As far as they only lost by 2 to Trenton. Hopefully they're gelling at the right time. We're talking about nearing February. And down the line, it's going to be March. And that's when we're going to see where everybody is. Everybody starts 0-0 in March. So
right.
That'll be a good opportunity to see.
Well, and I think for part of the game that we watched, that we called a few weeks back with the boys, they seem to not have a particularly deep bench. A few of their starters got into foul trouble, or we even saw Carolyn's grandson had an injury, and I don't think he returned to the game. And it just seemed like they were kind of short, and compared to what Lincoln Park was able to they had a deeper bench to put on the court, and that's, in basketball, you get a starter in foul trouble, especially like your star point guard, you could be in trouble real fast.
Yeah, and I wonder, I remember during basketball season, kids you wouldn't get eligible sometimes until January. Eligible as far as academically eligible.
Right.
Whether you were a transfer, whether you were a person that didn't do really well on your report card. So then sometimes that depth could get better as January approached because you're adding players that were already on your roster. So maybe that's the case. Maybe they're sneaking out a 6'9", 250-pound monster out of the locker room.
And high school sports, just like college, you got these kids for 3-4 years, and then it's a new crop. And it was just it was 2020, the COVID year, because they won the district that year. We covered their final game of the season where they clinched. And I remember at the time, this was late February. It was myself and Ken Montroy who covered the game. I think we had Calvin on camera. And it was cool because Calvin was only 1 year out of high school at the time, so he knew a lot of the kids on the team. So some of the kids were feeding us some intel, which was stuff we wouldn't necessarily normally have. And I was looking forward to, hey, we can cover some playoffs, and then COVID killed everything. So my point in saying all that is 3 years ago, they had a championship team. I think there was probably 6 seniors from that year alone. So we're 3 years out. None of those kids are left on the team, most likely. So, and that's kind of how these things run in cycles. You got to build up these freshmen and sophomore to their junior and senior years, and then you've got a shot again, and then you're going to have an exodus of 5-6 seniors or so, and you got to start it over again.
And you're 100% right. And a lot of times in smaller communities with a lot of kids like Wyandotte has, and I say that to say you got a freshman team, you got a JV team, and then you got a varsity team. Those teams get to gel because that freshman team can be really good.
Yeah.
And then that JV team could be okay, and then the varsity team's not so good. But then by the time that freshman team rotates to the senior year, you see what they've learned and they have gained for being in the process.
Chemistry is huge. I never played basketball in any organized capacity, but I played baseball and I played hockey, and in particular in hockey. I mean, that's why you see so much line shuffling in hockey. Coaches are looking for a center who clicks with his wingers. And when you have that, I mean, it's like magic. I played on lines in rec leagues that was the case. It clicked. Like everyone knew their role and they executed it well. And I was also on lines or just caught in line changes where it was like, man, one of us needs to get off the ice because neither one of us skates well, or we're trying to play the same role. You have to find that chemistry. And then I know it's similar in basketball. You get kids who play together long enough. You get teammates who you know where the other one's going to be in any given situation. You can't teach it.
No, you can't.
Just got to get the experience.
No, you're right. And they know where you like to shoot it. He can get you the ball. He or she can get you the ball in that spot, and then they know you're going to make it.
It's communicating without talking.
That's right.
And my best friend, we always played on the same line in hockey. We were very much like that. We knew each other's strengths, we knew each other's weaknesses, and we played to it every time, up and down the rink, without deviating. Because if we deviated, especially me, because I was not a strong skater, I'd look like a fool. I knew if I get the puck in my zone, I get it to him. And then I go to the front of the net to screen the goalie and get the crap beat out of me. But that's okay because my much more talented teammate has the puck now, and I've got the attention of 2 people. You got to play to your strengths, and you got to develop chemistry, whatever sport you're in.
Yeah. So the Wyandotte Warrior came out this week, right? And they had a cool article about a kid. The kid's name is Nick DeSanto. And Nick DeSanto just recently signed with the Division I football team. Whether he's from Wyandotte, I know he's from downriver, but he played at Gabriel Richard, Riverview Gabriel Richard. And he's got a picture here with his mom and his dad and his uncle and his sister, and they're talking about him signing at Eastern Illinois. And Nick looks like a big kid. But the cool part to me is that he's actually going to Eastern Illinois to play college football. And Eastern Illinois is famous for having Tony Romo, Dallas Cowboys, as their quarterback. He's a graduate from there. Also, Jimmy Garoppolo went there. And then they had some great coaches that went there, 2 Super Bowl winning coaches that attended Eastern Illinois, which is Sean Payton, who just became the coach of the Denver Broncos today, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the coach of the Denver Broncos.
Wave goodbye to the Rams, huh?
Yeah, no, Payton.
Oh, Payton,
he
Sean
was the
Payton.
Saints.
The Saints,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
The Saints are
Came
giving
out
up picks
of
for
his
that.
semi-retirement.
Yeah.
Oh, they're giving up picks for that, huh?
They had to because he's still under contract. And then also Mike Shanahan, who coached the Denver Broncos back in the day in the Redskins, but his son is the coach of the 49ers. So congratulations to Nick DeSanto, as well as his parents, who is Miss Elizabeth DeSanto, as well as his dad is, I'm looking for a dad, Mr. DeSanto, Joe. So congratulations, Eastern Illinois. That's a great coup, man. He looks like a big kid, man. They're gonna probably put 40 pounds on that guy.
And I imagine he's gonna keep his nose clean because Mama's a judge.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Now I mean, just looking at his build, I'm guessing offensive or defensive lineman.
He's got to be.
Yeah.
He is built like a big. He's a big fella. Like I said, he's got an opportunity to go to the NFL. He's going to a good school, and he's had all that history at that school. So, congratulations to Nick. I got a couple other little ditties. Caroline actually, our roving reporter, Caroline Sotheby, she actually went to talk to the Yak Arena and spoke with Miss Cheryl Ryler. And hopefully we can get Miss Cheryl on the show. We've invited her a couple times. We just got to get the timing down. But she said that the 3rd and 4th grade basketball is going really well. She has been to a couple of the games. She's excited. There were really big crowds, including Wyandotte Mayor, Mr. DeSana, who said that he was really happy that there were huge crowds, and he was even more happy that they weren't litter bugs.
Yes.
That they weren't throwing stuff around.
The mayor's a stickler for that kind of thing,
and I get it. So, no, that's cool. So, I'll still go to the Yak if you want to get your kids involved in any activities here in Wyandotte. They got a great youth assistance program in there, as well as the different things for the hockey arena. They got basketball going and it's underway. So, what about what's that?
Well, here we got the Bears. There's an wrestling invitational recently. And it looks like the Bears took second in that. Yeah.
No, that's good. Second place is better than the alternative, I guess, being in 10th place or 12th place.
Yeah, this is the 25th year that they've held this particular tournament. I'm trying to see how many teams were in. 19 total teams.
Oh, so, that's great. Yeah. That's great. That's good. You're talking about second place, and it makes me think of Jet Set. I talked to Coach Janeski from the bowling team, Wyandotte Girls. They won yesterday against Lincoln Park. So what they have done is they've guaranteed themselves a second place in the conference. Last year they won the conference, but they also play tonight against first place Taylor. Unfortunately, at the beginning of the taping of the show, they had already lost the Baker games and they were down 92 pins. They needed a small miracle, but he was still had his fingers crossed. But they're guaranteed second place in the conference, so they still should get a good seeding for the districts. But he was kind of bummed because, he wanted to repeat.
Sure. Now, it makes me wonder, old Jet Set Janeski, he's been bowling a long time. It makes me wonder what kind of a handicap he would afford someone like me or you if we were going one-on-one and if we could beat him.
I think we'd have to be together. I think we'd have to add my score and your score. And I just say that because I'm not a really good bowler.
It's been years since I've bowled. I did bowl in a league in high school. I wasn't terribly good. I wasn't awful, but I had a very unorthodox throw. And when it was good, it could strike because I threw the ball very hard. Yeah. But if I was off in my approach, gutter ball, like almost instantly. That might have to be like a local sports wrap-up special where we take on the old Jet Set.
Yeah. But if he's bowling, I don't know. I mean, I'm competitive by nature.
We need quite a handicap. I imagine Marty averages well over 200, I'm guessing.
I know he can bowl 230s, 240s pretty easily.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He can.
Yeah, okay.
He's a pretty good guy, bowler.
You're right.
And that's why I said we'd probably have to
might need
add our scores together.
Combined score and a handicap.
And we beat him,
I'm thinking I could do around 100, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
I know I'm getting 100.
Don't
so
quote
we
me
might
on
be
that.
okay. I know we're getting 100. Yeah, no, it's a challenge. Let's do that.
Let's throw it down. Throw it on that gauntlet.
Yeah. What about adult drop-in hockey at Wyandotte Recreation? They're doing that at Wednesdays and Fridays. Okay. So they're appealing to two different audiences here, right? They're both in the morning. Wednesdays at 9 or Fridays at noon. But goalies are free.
Goalies are free because it takes a crazy person to play goalie. I had my good buddy on all of our rink teams. He was a goalie, and he's a little off. A little off.
You got to be a little bit. Let people shoot pucks at you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But no, it's a good opportunity. It's only $8 for players. Goalies are free. So maybe that's something. Wyandotte Rec. You stop by Wednesdays 9 to 10:50, Fridays noon to 1:50. That is a good deal there. Wyandotte Hockey.
Yeah.
They actually beat Cabrini.
And a tight one there, 3-2 on the 24th.
Okay.
And then, on 26th, this was DeWitt beat Woodhaven 5-0. That's a bit of a surprising score. Usually you don't see Woodhaven. They might lose, but not like that. And that same day, Detroit Catholic Central over Trenton 5-1. And then, was this just the other day? Grozeal in overtime defeated Allen Park 5-4. And I'll tell you what, I'm a fan of just about all sports, but there is nothing like overtime, especially playoff overtime hockey. Sudden death. I mean, one bounce, one bad break, it's all over.
Good push. Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I tend to gravitate towards hockey during the playoffs more so than right now.
It is. There's nothing like playoff hockey.
Yeah. Well, it's been good. We're running out of time as Neil's signaling me. He's putting the bat signal up. And we'd like to thank you. Please email us at localsportswrapup@gmail.com. We can get your kids' information on here. We can talk about it. If you got any questions you want to send us, you can just send it to that email and we'll do it. And as we close out, I'd like to tell Carrington, happy birthday, girl. 14 years old. Dad's super proud of you. Yeah, she's an 8th grader and she's doing phenomenal in school. And I couldn't have better kids, man. I don't know.
Well, I can't be showing up tonight. I wish Lincoln a happy 8th birthday.
That's right. Lincoln, happy birthday,
Saturday.
bud.
Yeah, he's excited.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. No worries. They don't have any bills. It's easy, right?
I try and tell them all the time. I was like, cherish this time.
Yep. So thanks a lot for joining us tonight, and take care.